is the Raspberry Pi. It is a small computer. It has outputs. It has an HDMI output. It has an audio jack. It has the power supply, micro USB. It has 4 USB ports, a Ethernet port, or Cat 8 port, and then it also has right here a micro SD card port, which holds the operating system plus all the files that we're going to use. If we open the top up, you can actually see the board. Right here in the top right hand corner, when we turn it on, we'll actually see a light, and that will indicate that the computer is turned on. One thing we do not want to do with this thing is turn it off while that light is still on. I will show you how to turn it off when it's deployed properly, so that way we don't corrupt the SD card. Yeah, and so this is the Wi-Fi dongle. This is what's going to allow you and everybody else to connect into the local area network or LAN system and access all the files that we have stored in this thing. So this is the instructional video on how to do this. So to deploy this thing, all we need is power, a continuous source of power. So at the moment we have it set up so that it's plugged into a standard outlet. Here's the power supply cord. We don't really need the HDMI cord at the moment. That would be used mainly, I mean, if we had a TV, we would plug it in, or we wanted to show a video or something, maybe that's what it would be used for. But at the moment, just for this first deployment, we're just going to use the power supply. Yep. So to turn this thing on, we have to make sure that the SD card is in there securely, that the Wi-Fi dongle is in securely, and that we have a continuous power supply. So we're just going to take it and plug it in to this little port on the left hand side. Okay, so the power supply is in, and if we open it up, we'll see that the red light is on, and it's flashing a little bit of green, which just means it's thinking at the moment, and it's actually just loading up the computer, and it's just booting up. So the top on, and so we'll give it a few minutes, or give it maybe a minute to load up all the way. So what we can do with this thing is pretty sweet. Right here I have my iPad, but you can use whatever device of choice as long as it has a Wi-Fi ability and it has a web browser. So if we were in, let's say, the middle of the jungle, we would obviously have our airplane mode turned on and we wouldn't be able to connect to anything. I suppose there wouldn't be any Wi-Fi connection or mobile connection. So what we'll do is we'll have Wi-Fi turned off just to simulate this, but we're actually going to go ahead and turn it on for now. And it's going to scan all the Wi-Fi networks around here. And one of the networks, besides these top two, is this RPI, and that's the one that we will connect to the Raspberry Pi, hence RPI. And we'll just click on that, and it'll take maybe 10 seconds to find the network and connect. So we've connected successfully, and we're just going to go to our main screen, and we're going to go to Safari. And Safari, we want to put in our URL area 10.10.10.10, and that is the IP address of the Raspberry Pi, and that'll let us access the Rachel site. And so from this we can do a bunch of different things. We have Wikipedia for schools, Khan Academy, Medline Plus Medical Encyclopedia, Hesperian Health Guides, InfoNet BioVision, Practical Action, Great Books of the World, OLPC Educational Packages, UNESCO's Electronic Library, Math Expression, Power Typing, MIT Scratch, Music Theory, Understanding Algebra, Raspberry Pi User Guide, Medical Information, and Windows applications that you can download, such as Mozilla Firefox, OpenOffice Suite, and VLC Video Player. So let's go to something that we would probably use. Medline Plus Medical Encyclopedia. So from our iPad, we can click on, let's say, I don't know, this one right here. And let's say we had a patient who we thought had Helicobacter pylori. We'll just click on that. And the contents of the page pops up with different illustrations, blah, 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 definitions, symptoms, different ways of treating it, treatment, outlook, prognosis, complications, and a bunch of other cool stuff. And so we have, I don't know, on the HI page, we have a lot of different ones. I mean, it just goes on and on. And we have the entire alphabet right here. So it's quite a wealth of information. So that opened up in a new tab. So to get back to our home page, we just click on Rachel Home. It'll take us back here to our main page. So we have the Hesperian Health Guides, which come with the regular, PDF version, helping children who are deaf. Page 8, about this book. And yeah, this is such a valuable resource. And what the cool thing is that not only can the staff who are on the medical mission use this, but also other people. The one thing I would say, one caveat, is that every time somebody logs in here and starts requesting information, such as PDFs or whatever, books, whatever, that takes more power to do that, the more people you have from this little computer. And so that if you had more than, I'm going to say 5 to be conservative, but maybe 8 people on it at one time requesting information, then it could possibly cause pain and suffering for that little thing. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's see, Khan Academy. There are videos, let's say, for arithmetic and pre-algebra. Let's say multiplication and division. And then there are all these videos, so more on the concept of multiplication.
If we have 2 groups, and in each group I have 4, so that's one group of 4, and then here's my second group of 4.
And it's all these Khan Academy videos, which is really awesome. So to go home, you just click Rachel, and yeah, so this is the RachelPi. This is the 32 gigabyte version. Hopefully in the future I can get the 64 gigabyte version, and that'll just have more information. Okay, so we have covered starting up the Raspberry Pi, RachelPi, and using the RachelPi. And now I want to go through the shutdown of the RachelPi, which is pretty key to using this thing, because it would seem that you would be able to just unplug the RachelPi from its power source, but that is not recommended, nor do I advise it at all, because you can actually corrupt the SD card on there. So that way, basically you can, first of all, just damage the Raspberry Pi by doing that, and then second of all, you can corrupt the SD card on it, which makes the files unreadable. So what we want to do is we want to shut it down properly. And in order to do that, we want to download an app such as Server Auditor, which is a free app on the App Store. There are a few other ones, but they cost money, but this one seems to do the trick pretty well. So I just downloaded a new copy of it, and I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Okay. So I want to start by adding a new host. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Click on new host. Okay, and so the host is going to be 10.10.10.10. The username is Pi. The password is going to be Rachel. And that is it, just those 3 items. And we're just going to click on save. And so for this to work, we're going to have to actually be connected to the RPi Wi-Fi hotspot. And so when we click on here, it's going to pop up. Authenticity of the host, 10.10.10.10. It can't be established, but that's okay because it's only a local network. So we're going to hit continue. And the quick guide is going to come up, but we don't really need this because we're not doing anything fancy with it right now. And so what we get is this, which is the terminal of the computer. Basically, it's just the place to input commands through the computer. So one of the commands you can input is to shut down the Raspberry Pi, and that's what we're going to do. So it says Pi at Rachel, which is exactly what we want to see. And to shut it down from our iPad, we are going to type in these 4 things. So one of them is going to be sudo, S-U-D-O, sudo, then a space, and then we're going to type in shutdown, and so sudo shutdown space hyphen lowercase h, and then we're going to type in now because we want to do shutdown right now. You can put in other commands such as shutdown in 10 minutes or whatever, but we're just going to keep it simple, or we're just going to do sudo shutdown -h now, and we're going to hit return. And so right now it says broadcast message from blah blah blah. The system is going down for system halt now. Great, that is exactly what we want. So if we go over here to our Raspberry Pi, you want to make sure before we actually unplug anything from it, we open it up. Red light is on. So it took maybe a minute for the Raspberry Pi to actually shut down, but if we open it up, we'll actually still see the red light on, and that's alright. We just don't want to see the green light flashing, which is what we don't see. And then also, just to confirm that the Raspberry Pi is actually shut down, we can just check the Wi-Fi again, and the RPi shouldn't show up. If it does show up, that means it did not shut down properly.